up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back here at one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? We have a refresh update of a very popular mid-size SUV. This is it. This is your updated 2023 Hyundai Palisade. This one, of course, is the top trim. It is the calligraphy. But before we get into this all-wheel drive, top-selling three-row mid-size SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. Hyundai. They've been doing the SUV business here in the United States since Y2K, the year 2000. It was first the Santa Fe, and then slowly they expanded their lineup to where now they have their largest SUV, which is the Palisade, and their smallest subcompact crossover SUV, which would be the Venue, and then of course the Hyundai Kona. Now in between, you do have the Santa Fe, you do have the Tucson, but one thing is for certain, when it comes to needing that bigger size, but also now some luxury and technology, this Palisade is basically just knocking it out of the park every time it swings the bat. Now, for 2023, like I said, they didn't want to rest on their laurels and let the competition catch up. They wanted to make some changes. So what I want to find out is this Palisade the better way to go over the competition, and is it worth the price when you go full in on the calligraphy trim? Let's go ahead, let's dive into our robust green. That's the name of the color, robust green. It's like a nice emerald green Palisade calligraphy, and find out. Right off the bat, you're gonna see the changes at the front of the business. We have all new front fascia and lighting. So you're still gonna get that same great LED daytime running lamp. I love the way it waterfalls into the front fascia. They even make sure that it continues enough for visual purposes that they put this small little rectangle area as well as it drops into the lower headlight housing. Now, some people are still not digging having the headlights lower. You know what? I think Hyundai has found the right recipe for style. So you're gonna get this full LED light system, projector beam headlights, like the way most of it is blacked out. You have your daytime running lamp, and then you have a functional corner air curtain. That gives us that functionality, helps with the airflow, and it looks pretty freaking good. You'll also notice how they do the turn signals. So they actually blend it into the grille area. When the turn signals are not flashing, this is just a nice white bright light like the rest of the daytime running lamp. Being a calligraphy trim, you do have a nice area of this, almost looks like a polished aluminum effect to the lower front fascia. And then of course, as we coast across this massive grille, this is what Hyundai's bringing for 2023. Calligraphy trim, you have that nice, like I said, that bright aluminum finish. No, it's not real metal, but it looks pretty freaking good. You got the Hyundai badge, and we have a forward-facing camera. So I like the way they did the unique finishes, forward-facing camera, even the Hyundai badge, instead of it being shiny chrome, like you'd find on 99% of the other Hyundais, I like the way it blends in nicely with the grille. Same thing with this midsection. And then even on the lower portion, they carried that same design into the functional lower grille area, and this nice meaty splitter that extends out. Even the way they textured it on the bottom, it's the whole attention to detail. You hear that? Almost sounds like a washboard, like I'm gonna go do some laundry down by the river. It's the little details that equal to the big picture. Now, as we rise up onto the hood, hood is gonna be the same. If you have a 2022 Palisade in your garage, hood is gonna be exactly the same, and that's not a bad thing. Love the way it rises up, and then you'll notice how it curves right as you get to the A-pillar and then disappears. Now, as we come around the bend, besides lighting and grille and front fascia, we have some changes to the wheels. So this is gonna be your wheel on the calligraphy trim, your top trim, 20-inch wheel. It's a little bland, but you know what? It's working on the robust green. You got this multi-spoke design all the way around, the gunmetal metallic gray, machine aluminum. I like the way they even do this little center cap cover, and it's got the ridges, just like Ruffles. Ruffles have the ridges. It's got the ridges all the way around, but 20-inch wheel. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this? 245 in the width, 50 series sidewall, and our particular calligraphy trim of the Palisade is all-wheel drive. Now, if you're comparing this to the Highlander, obviously Highlander has their limited and their platinum trims, maybe an Explorer as well, or even a CX-9 looks pretty good. But you know what? The way the front end and everything comes together, very, very unique, especially with the 20-inch wheel. Now, as we come down the side, everything is painted. Very happy to report that. You are going to get the robust green on your mirror caps. They do a unique style on their turn signals, and I'm digging it. It's actually in 2 different places. Technically 3 if you go 1, 2, 3, but up front and on the side, we do have aluminum style finish to the low roof rails, aluminum around the window openings, even on the door handles. Very nice touch. Now, the one zonk I'm gonna give it is that if you wanna get into the rear passenger seats and the doors are locked, even if you have the key fob, the door will not unlock. I wish that it had access to unlock the doors at all 4 corners if you have the key fob in your pocket. Of course, you can take the key fob out and hit the unlock button and everything unlocks. But if your hands are kind of full and you come to the back door, it's not gonna unlock. You have to come to the front door to unlock it. That is a zonk. But I do like the way they carried the aluminum finish on the lower sill section, all painted. There's no flat black plastic. Compare that to any other model out there. You'd be hard to find. It'd be hard to find one that doesn't have any flat black plastic somewhere on the vehicle. Working our way towards the back, I liked what they did here. Look at the way they carried the aluminum trim, stop, and then they took from the top and then brought that in, stop. That really gives it, like I said, a nice extra style and not make it too heavy with aluminum trim all over the freaking place. Working our way back, like I said, we got that rear wheel drive, front wheel drive gives us the all wheel drive, sends up to 60% of the power to the rear wheels with that Hyundai H-Track system. You can lock the center diff. And coming around the back, they did a great job except for this guy right here. So nice long low roof spoiler. Take this, tuck it underneath. It would really just make this whole back come together. So of course we're gonna zonk that. You got your Palisade badge, you got your Hyundai badge, H-Track lights. Did a great job, just like the headlights on the taillights as well. Turn signals and the whole shabam. I even like the way they bring the aluminum finish into the trim here. Along the bottom, as we work our way down, you still only have the exhaust on one side. Let me know in the comment section, should that be a zonk? Should there be exhaust on this side to balance it out? But I do like the way, just like up front, it's like you can almost get a stick and play a song on this thing. They have the ruffle ridges on the bottom, and of course this comes off because you can tow with this big sized Hyundai Palisade. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this calligraphy. All right, guys, we got the hood open. You do have hood struts to hold the hood open. Underneath, semi-tasteful engine cover. You know what? It's got a Hyundai badge on it, and let's be real. How many Palisade owners are gonna pop their own hood at a Cars and Coffee event? But what do we got? We still got that 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6 pumping out 291 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds. Top speed 132 miles per hour. The vehicle weighs 4,550 pounds. MPGs 19 in the city, 25 on the highway, and you can tow up to 5,000 pounds with this Hyundai Palisade. So nice that you still have naturally aspirated V6 power. Remember, CX-9, turbocharged inline 4. Highlander has now switched to a turbocharged inline 4. And some of the trims of vehicles like the Ford Explorer are coming with a turbocharged inline 4. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire this up and see it in motion. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 updated, refreshed Hyundai Palisade. Like I said, this is the top trim. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been needing a mid-size 3-row SUV. I had a couple extra kids I didn't know about. I need to take them to school and take them out to dinner and Walt Disney World and SeaWorld and Busch Gardens and Adventure Island. I'm liking this Palisade calligraphy, but the big question is, how much is it? That's a very good question. MSRP for the way that this one is optioned is right at $52,000. Yes, it's a bit of do-re-mi, but let's see how it stacks up to the competition. To the door panels. I like what they've done with the materials. Soft touch up top, and then look what they did. It's not just gloss black. It's really nicely done with this silver pinstripe. And with the silver, it actually hides the fingerprints. Then as we trickle our way into the midsection, you'll see the stitching, the perforated material, no gloss black around the switchgear. They did this really cool silverish, almost looks like a metal, but it's not obviously, but it hides the fingerprints, looks very, very luxurious without being too gaudy. The stitching, and then look at the speaker grill cover. We got the Harman Kardon sound system, nice aluminum speaker grill cover. The only thing is the door pocket is a little on the small side for such a big SUV, but you'll still be able to get, I would say, probably one Chipotle burrito. You could even get guac, but remember, guac costs extra, and a bottle of root beer to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, the design carries throughout. Soft touch, there's more of that nice pinstripe, like a classy pinstripe suit. Soft touch in the center, the aluminum style, the way they blend everything in, so seamless. And then as we coast to the infotainment side of things, you got your 12 inches. 12.3 inches of visual infotainment system screen, navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Is it a touchscreen? Of course it's a touchscreen, silly. You got passenger talk, where you can speak through the actual sound system speakers, so you don't have to raise your voice. Look how nice everything is, so quick to react. Get into your rear climate controls. You can lock it down, the whole 9 yards. What about backup camera? Throw it into reverse. Super clear resolution. I love the 360. Watch this. This is kind of cool. Ba-bam. Let's say you're at the mall and you want to see if somebody's peeping and creeping on you. You could check out the bushes and then call 911 or get the pepper spray ready to blast them in the eyes if they're going to jump out and try to scare you. And then you find out after you pepper spray them, it's one of your friends, and then you kind of feel funny about it. But oh well. Put it back in the park, and we're right back where we started. Working our way down, start-stop buttons all the way over behind the wheel, and it looks nice the way it's super clean with the rest of the silver. Real switches and knobs. Dual climate control. Nice little touch screen right here in the center for your dual climate control. This is going to be your mode selector. Look at all the different modes you have. Lock the center diff, hill descent control, and then guess what? This is going to control your 8-speed automatic transmission. Ventilated seats, heated seats, both 3 stages apiece. Heated steering wheel. More of that nice silver finish. What about down below? Look at this. You got a 12 volt, you got a USB, and you got enough space down here for a 5-pound bag of apples, potatoes, onions, even a purse, a sack, a satchel, even a Merce. You could put it down there. I like the way they did nice soft touch without a bunch of gloss black. It says push. Should we do it? Oh yeah, look at that. Wireless charging, USB-A, 2 cup holders. And if you're saying, well, Joe, I don't see any cup holders there. Bam, bam, cup holders. And then you just close it. Super slick. Love the stitching. Not the softest of armrests. It's sort of like they took a rock and they wrapped it with some thin material. So not the softest, but open it up. You got your Planters peanuts. Fill that up, honey roasted. Then you got another 12 volt, a USB-C, and enough space in there. I would say you could probably put 6 Transformers in there. Maybe get Megatron, Optimus Prime. It's crazy. If I would have kept those, I'd probably be a multi-millionaire from when I was a kid if I would have kept my Transformers, because they're worth so much money. But of course, my younger brothers and sisters broke them all. So thanks, guys, for ruining my investment. But you can store them in here. Keep them away from your younger brothers and sisters. Seats, the Nappa leather, the piping. Look at the beautiful stitch work. Nice bolstering. Full electric assist, of course, for the passenger. Full electric assist, of course, for the driver. I got Alcantara. No, not your neighbor, Mr. Cantera, that lives down the street from you. I'm talking about that microfiber suede material. By the way, Alcantara is the name of the company. Sort of like Q-tip. We call Q-tips Q-tips, but technically they're cotton swabs. So this is microfiber suede material. We call it Alcantara because of the, you get it? Is that making sense? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? How about sunroof? Standard sunroof up front is a little bit of a bummer, but don't be too sad. Don't get the zonks out yet. There is some other glass roof for our other passengers. It would have been nice though if it was all one seamless piece. But why don't you get your butt over here? I want to show you behind the steering wheel and another 12 inches I got over here for you in the new Palisade. All right guys, here we are, business time. You have 2 memory seat settings, so you can let somebody borrow your Palisade and they won't screw up your seat settings. You do have a tasteful aluminum sill plate. The only thing that I'm gonna zonk on is it doesn't light up. All the competition, when you look at this level, all of this lights up. It would have been a nice little extra touch, but we do have our buttons, easy to get to, and I like the way they put a little bit of silver trim. You see this guy right here? That's the massage seat setting. So you do get massage seats on the Palisade calligraphy. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room. They didn't change really any dimensions in here. So if you like a 22 Palisade or a 2021, you're gonna like the room in this one. Steering wheel, I wish they would have done a little bit more. Give me a nicer horn button. This just looks like it's out of a Hyundai Elantra. Not a bad thing necessarily, but this is a calligraphy. I want this leather wrapped. I want stitching on it or something. You do have silver on the buttons, which is nice. Hides all the fingerprints. You also do have paddles to go up and down the 8-speed automatic. Manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. I was expecting electric, so that's gonna be a half zonk on that. And then they do give you the 12 inches of digital gauge display. Watch as you go through the different modes and everything changes on the screen. I love the way sport, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, everything is red. Of course, you're gonna have your corner cameras. Love the way it still has the important information in that camera. And then in the center display, you could actually scroll through a cornucopia of different information. So nice that they have all that. Plus, there's a head-up display. But let me see what we got in the back seat for you. I've shown you what's up front, but let's get into the mid-row and see if the Palisade is bringing enough for the price. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, here we are, mid-row time, because remember, we have 3 rows in this SUV. First of all, I just want to say just how nice the seats are. Same material as up front. You do have that captain's chair armrest. It's close. You know what? I'm gonna let it slide. It's just on the limit of being too thin. So I'm glad that, and I'm very happy it's not one of those annoying ratcheting ones. Those are just a pain in the butt. But the seats look great. Backs of the seats, you do have some plastic. That's gonna be good to clean your kids', you know, powdered donut fingerprints. Just wipe it right off. You do have a solid pocket, which easily you could put, I would say, 4 paninis back here from Panera. And you also have a little area to hold like a back scratcher. You know, sometimes when I'm eating a panini, you start to get a little itch and you can't get to it. You don't want to put the panini down, so you can put a little back scratcher, one of those expandable ones. It's like, and then you just go. Here's something super smart. Besides the panini holder, is you have your USB-Cs in the back portion of the seats. This is smart so that you don't have the cables all the way down on the bottom. We do have our command center here, and check this out. Nobody does this besides Kia and Hyundai. We got mid-row ventilated seats, 3 stages, mid-row heated seats, 3 stages, and we got dual climate control, a 12-volt, and a home power source, for Pete's sakes. So they bring more connection and connectivity and technology than even Best Buy has in their stores here in the Palisade. Seats, very comfortable. You do have that more of that Alcantara. This opens up to give us even more room, and if you don't believe me, I'm gonna do it right now. You ready? Watch this. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna open rear. Voila, look at that. You got your glass roof up top, slides all the way back. If I wanna put it forward and close it, no problem, but I'm 6 feet tall. I got plenty of room. You got this little sunshade so you don't have to get those pieces of window tint. You ever see people do that? They get like these small squares and they like lick it and stick it all over the window and it looks like crap. Either get the windows tinted or use the sunshade. That's my advice. I got my armrest. Watch this. You ready? The seat slides. And it reclines. And you even have these little side pockets here for like, you could keep, you know, like some people, they like to have their 2 phones. You can keep 1 phone up front. That's for your friends and family. And then you got your booty call phone. You can keep that one for over here on the side. But while we go ahead, let's get into the 3rd row and see if there's enough room for your booty back there in the rear of the Palisade. All right, guys, 3rd row time. I was able to squeeze my booty back here. Remember, 6 feet tall. You know what? It's not too bad. I've been in better. I've also been in worse. If my knees were just a little bit lower, it'd be a little bit more palatable. But you know what? Still got plenty of headroom. You got your AC vents. I get to see, if this shade is open, I get to see the sun above me and get some nice sunny D, vitamin D rays on me. What's also great is you have, and I was wondering why my back was getting a little hot and sweaty. You have 3 stages of heated seats back here, and I actually had the heated seat on by accident. So make sure if you sit back here, if those lights are on, you're getting roasted like a cooked turkey back here. So I'm gonna shut those off, USB-C. And what's nice is that if you need a little bit more room, watch this. They actually recline a little bit just to make it a little bit more bearable back here. I could do a little bit of a trip on here. When I want to do 300 miles, you better pay me at least $100 to sit back here. But you know what? Like I said, the Palisade, especially now with heated seats on a cold winter's day, this actually isn't too bad. But let's go ahead, let's get all these seats folded down and see how much space there is for your junk in the Palisade. All right, guys, obviously one of the most important things to any family hauler is the cargo area. You hit the button, nice electric assist. I have the 3rd row up, of course. I want to showcase just how much room there is. Nice, versatile space. On the driver's side is where you're going to have your command center. You got your 12 volt. You got all of your buttons for electrically folding down the rear seats, and then you do have that subwoofer for your Harman Kardon sound system. The great news is that if your doctor tells you need to watch the snacks and your family is like making sure that you stick to your guns, here's a little surprise. Pick this up. You can literally put, I would say, 22 boxes of Twinkies, maybe mix it up, some ding dongs, some ho-hos, some snowballs, whatever you want, hide them back here, and then nobody will be the wiser. What you could do is every time you do like a fuel stop, pretend like you're moving around some of the stuff in the back and just like get a quick bite. That's the way to do it. Now to put the seats down, guess what? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. 3rd, 2nd. We're going for 3rd and we're going in the down position. So you're just gonna hit that button, look at that. 1 button press and a fold down. Nice power assist on the calligraphy trim. I'm gonna have Steven kind of showcase what we got going on back here. So when I was sitting in the 3rd row, there's your USB-C, there's our switch gear so that you could actually recline that seat a little bit and make it comfortable. You got your speakers, you got your AC vents, and Alcantara all over this back area. Now, of course, you can fold down the mid row. Everything's gonna be folding flat. And if you wanna know how much room you got 18 cubic feet of space with the 3rd row up. Folded down, that gives you 46 cubic feet of space. Folded the mid row down, that gives you 86 cubic feet of space. Now, if we compare this to the competition, the Explorer does have a little bit more area, a little bit more space for your junk, but I think we would agree when it comes to finishes, calligraphy seems to be ahead of the game. But you know what? Let's go ahead. We got a naturally aspirated V6. We don't have a ridiculous CVT. Let's go ahead and take this Palisade for a little on-throttle spin. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Hyundai Palisade calligraphy, and this is really the standard that all other mid-size 3-row SUVs are judged by. I mean, let's just get real. Hyundai and Kia outsmarted all the other brands, all of them, with what they're bringing and what price point that it comes at. Right away, driving this vehicle, especially the calligraphy, you're gonna get updated upgraded sound deadening material, thickness of the acoustic side windows, acoustic windshield, everything to create the perfect driving environment. Getting to the infotainment system is well within reach. Everything is so smartly laid out, it just makes sense. And then you have technology that the others just can't touch. Things like when you turn on your turn signal and you get that blind spot camera that shows up on the dash. Things like ventilated mid-row and heated third row. Those are the things that separate this vehicle from the rest of the pack. Now, obviously the Telluride, very, very similar. That makes sense. But everything else outside of that, I mean, it is quite surprising that the others have not caught up yet. They still got a little bit to go. But driving down the road, very, very soft ride without feeling too, you know, like you're riding on a marshmallow. Seats are great, very, very supportive. Visibility is fantastic, especially with the new digital rear view mirror. And then you got the instrumentation that all at the flip of a switch, or the turn of a knob, we should say, you can make your adjustments and go into the different modes. When you go into sport mode, the bolstering kind of squeezes you just a little bit more, just to hug you in and keep you rock solid in place. And the great news is you really don't have to look at the knob. The way that it displays on the dash allows you to stay focused on what's important, and that's the direction that you want to go in. Always look where you want to go. But there is that rear view mirror. You can see the guy in there with his cool shades, chilling in his Ram. And we're in this calligraphy with the ventilated seats and, of course, that Alcantara microfiber suede headliner. All right, guys, once this light turns green, we're going to be going on throttle. I have it in sport mode. On throttle, here we go. Instant torque from the V6. And then going around this bend, the H-Track all-wheel drive keeps everything planted. Remember, Hyundai has a championship-winning WRC team, or I should say teams, and all that engineering and experience gets trickled down even to vehicles like the Palisade. Not a corner carver by any means, but definitely going to keep you planted, safe, and secure. I love the fact that to operate the AC system, it's so freaking straightforward. Really, really makes sense. You can see this guy in this Toyota, for some reason, is pulling out. But this is typical Florida driving here in the sunny, shiny area of Florida. Really, really loving what people are doing here. Good job. And I'm definitely just so proud of everybody, how they drive. Very, very courteous. Always showing the right of way. All right, guys, we got passed through all the mess, all the confusion. And that's the thing is that in this vehicle, you are going to, of course, have all the safety features. They got a very high safety rating. But one thing I was talking about is like the AC controls. You have your physical knobs, but I like the way it's so easy to switch to rear seats. And you could shut off or turn on the rear seats, switch it back to front seats. Steering is nice and light, even in sport mode. And then you can see the handling. Not too much body roll, which is a pleasant thing. And you're gonna get that low down grunt from the torquey V6. But here we go, on throttle. 8-speed automatic transmission, nice and smooth. Get you up to speed, no problem. Plenty of power to get out of its own way. Brakes feel good, and really the SUV feels nice and balanced. Even if you haven't driven a mid-size, larger SUV like this Palisade, I think you're gonna feel comfortable, especially with things like the digital rear view mirror and just all the great visual reference points. You got your smart park, so with the key fob, you could actually pull in and out of a spot all by the press of a button with the key fob. It's technology like that, like I said, that really makes life a lot easier when you're navigating the crazy streets, especially the crazy streets in Florida here. But pulling out on the highway, you just got to make sure you're looking forward because everybody's doing their own thing. Head-up display allows you to keep that vision where you want to go. And then you got your blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, emergency brake assist. But here we are on the highway, and it's just really smooth. More of that great Florida driving taking place in front of us. But just smooth and composed and very quiet. Don't be afraid of the 20-inch wheels. They don't produce a hard ride, and the road noise, as you could hear, is very limited. I think another thing that I really like about the Palisade is how the digital display is separate from the infotainment system. I'm not a big fan of the one ginormous, dual screen setup that way. I like having a little bit of a differentiator between the two, and you're definitely getting that with the Palisade. You could go, of course, shift with the paddles if you want to. And then just to show how easy it is to switch to the modes, there we are in Smart, Sport. I'm gonna go into Comfort. I think a lot of people are gonna drive that way. On throttle, here we go. Love the graphics, the fonts. I mean, that kind of technology is stuff that you once upon a time only saw in a vehicle like a Mercedes-Benz. And yes, when you switch into comfort mode, it's not just about steering, it's the throttle sensitivity, it's how the engine and the transmission behave with one another, and everything else in between. But over the bumps, over the divots, very, very smooth. There's a big bump coming up right here. You just glide right over it. But here we are getting back out on the highway. On throttle, here we go. Love the way, like I said, it's got plenty of power. It's not about being a drag vehicle by any means, but it's got plenty of power to get out of its own way. And the 8-speed automatic does the business very, very well. Hopefully, this has been a good overall review of the 2023 Palisade Calligraphy. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day here in Tampa Bay with this Hyundai Palisade. Definitely got to thank everybody at Hyundai USA for allowing us access to this beautiful, robust green calligraphy trim of the Palisade. Let me know what you think. Is it worth the do-re-mi for this mid-size 3-row SUV? Are you going to go with a Highlander? Are you going to go with an Explorer? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiders Rise family. We definitely want to thank Stephen Flood Photography, wearing his special camera pants today. Show him some love in the comment section. I wish I could show you guys the pants because he is styling and profiling. Thank you, Stephen, for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.